Hey guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Rachel, hey Christine, Nicholas, and Mike. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just going to mute you guys for 1 second. There we go. Hello.
Hi.
All right, we'll just wait a couple of minutes. Hey Nicholas, can you hear me okay? Maybe not. Everyone else can hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Cool, awesome. Nicholas. I'll just write in the chat box. So guys, before we start tonight, we'll just wait a minute or two just in case someone jumps on. Nick, can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me now? Let's see, hold on 1 second. Nick, can you hear me? No, good, okay, cool. And we've got Amy as well. Cool. So everyone else seems to be able to hear me. Hey Amy.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Cool, you jumped on the call this morning, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool, you can stay on if
My
you want.
evening.
That's totally fine. You're more than welcome to jump on this call, and if you just want to hear into it, that's absolutely fine. But because you were here this morning as well, don't feel like you have to stay on the whole time as well, okay? Unless you want to.
Oh, it was useful. I learned quite a lot from other people, and I've got one question.
Okay, cool. We'll see if we can get to you at the end. If not, we'll try in the group. Nick, can you hear me now? Now, can everyone see the comment section down below, just in the chat bar? You should be able to see that little chat box there. You can ask questions as well if you're struggling. If you're struggling to hear me or not. Maybe Nick might need to use a phone. Use a phone if you need to. Oh yeah, cool. Cool. All right, guys. So basically, we're going to get straight into it. But before we do, just going to explain to you how it works. So tonight, basically, we're going to do a thing called warm seat coaching. And that basically means that someone's going to be in the front of the seat, which will be talking to me, warming the seat up. And in that time, basically, we're going to do a quick coaching session and just answer any questions you guys have got. It's really important that if you're not speaking, that you actually take notes for yourself and basically learn some insights from what anyone else is actually going through. So this morning we did a group coaching session, and basically everyone was at totally different stages, but everyone seemed to learn from each other despite that, okay? So what I want you to do is try and take away just some key takeaways from each person who's talking and apply it in your own life. And that's why I said bring your notepad and pen, because it's just super important. Before we get started into some question and answers, we're just going to go around the room and basically just share a quick win for each person, just because I want to hear you guys speak. And I think it's a good way just to start kind of, getting to know each other as well. But yeah, try and keep it short. So we're going to go Rachel Hughes to start with. Hello. Speak again.
You hear me now?
Gotcha. All right. What's one win that you've had in the last week?
Well, I would say the last couple of evenings, I've been struggling. And so the last couple of evenings, a small 15-minute yoga routine before going to bed, just to try and start doing the same thing every night.
Yeah.
And had 2 really good,
Perfect.
much more positive after that.
Good. Awesome. Something so simple, but like just doing it is the key. Yeah.
I think it was about 12 minutes routine, so I didn't give myself too much to do, but yeah, it's perfect.
Good. Awesome. We'll get to your questions soon as well. Thanks for sharing the win. Nicholas, hopefully, are you working?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you now.
I even tested this before and it said it was working, but I don't know, technology. We'll just, whatever.
Exactly. What's your win for the week?
Okay. So I guess the win would be, I guess, like a change in mindset, that I'm trying like to, be a little like less of a perfectionist and just being, kinder to myself, because sometimes I just, kind of like force myself to be like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. And, if I'm not feeling well and then I can't do it, it makes me feel, quite bad. And it's just, I think like the journals really helped, kind of put things more into perspective and just, remind myself like, oh, you're still doing well, even if you didn't get to do, all that you wanted to, or you didn't do, as much as you did yesterday. So I guess the win is like the change in mindset into being, less of that perfectionist, got to do everything.
Be more relaxed around it. Is that something you want to talk about today? Is that kind of, is your question or questions going to revolve around any of that?
Yeah, that's kind of, the topic of the question.
Cool. Awesome. I'll get back to you on that because I do want to talk about that more, because I feel like you're definitely you're starting it, but I feel like everyone's a bit like that. So it's kind of cool to hit that for everyone. So it's a good topic. Thanks, mate. Good stuff. Hey, Sarah, you just joined. Just see if you can get your mic working and that you can hear me okay. She's having a look at her phone now. Christine, what's your win for the week?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. My biggest win for the last week was I had no crash because the last half year I only lived in the push and crash cycle. That was my biggest win. I've reduced a lot of activities on my daily plan, and
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good
so
start. That's
sleep was better. Yeah.
Good. That's a really good start. We'll talk about that. Probably hit that on your question and answer. We'll try and talk about that, because I think getting it right to start with is really key. But then progressing from there is good, because thanks for sharing your win. But basically, for everybody who's listening, if you're kind of at that point of like figuring out your baseline and getting it right, that's challenging in itself. So the fact that you've got it done in a week is pretty awesome. You're learning fast. But the second thing we want to focus on is those tiny little progressions. We don't want to always do less is more. It's, as one of my old doctors said, and he's still going now, his name's Dr. Lionel Lubitz, amazing guy. And he said to me, you can't do too much, but you can't do too little, and it's just having that fine balance, and I call it the sweet spot. And your sweet spot changes day to day, and we spoke about that this morning. Amy was on our call, and we spoke about that this morning about finding your sweet spot. So we'll probably talk about that today, I'm sure. One of you have got a question around that. Maiken, it looks like it's Maiken, but it's Maiken. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
All right, tell us your win.
Yes. Well, that I got my sick leave last Monday.
Well done.
So I already feel I have more energy.
Leave. We should call it health leave, not sick leave.
Okay, health leave then. Of course, mindset. Yeah. So that's my big win.
Big relief.
Yeah.
Cool.
Really big.
I'm looking forward to helping you tonight as well.
Oh, thank you.
Sarah, you joined us late, but that's okay.
Sorry.
No, you're all good. Where are you at the moment?
My apartment.
In what country?
Israel.
Israel. Yeah, cool. I wasn't sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure which country you're in. So, now did you get the daily planner?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
So I'm checking on that today. Yeah, but
Okay.
I've been writing on regular.
Okay, cool. Did everyone put your hand up if you got your daily planner? Everyone get it? Christine, you haven't got it yet. Okay, cool. All right. You should get it in the mail. It depends on your country, obviously, as well. But if you haven't got it by the end of the week, can you please email me? And I will check with the post office. Rachel, you got yours, yeah? Good. Beautiful. Okay, share us with your win.
I've been getting to bed pretty much earlier than what I had been. From 10:30 to 11:30.
Good.
Instead of like 1, 2. And also waking up. That's been my main focus for the past week. Waking up between like 9 to 10:30, which is also really good. Cool. And also I was supposed to go out with like this thing I was looking forward to, and my body wasn't up to it, so I decided to stay in and do stuff that I enjoyed and which made me happy.
And how did you feel doing that?
I felt really good.
It's funny. I got a friend on Instagram, and she put up a photo of herself. It was a couple of weeks ago now, and she looked so good, you know. And I messaged her. And I said, "You're looking so good at the moment." And she doesn't have chronic fatigue. She's totally healthy, but you know, you can tell the difference of when someone's feeling good or not. But she just had like pure bliss and happiness. And I said, "What are you doing?" And she said to me, I'm putting me first, and I'm just making decisions that bring me joy. And she said to me, it was specifically that night that she put it on her story, and she said that she cancelled her plans with her friends because she just didn't feel like it. She just was like, I just need to be on my own. And so basically that's why she felt so good. And I thought, fuck, that's awesome. Like what a good boundary to set, you know, in a healthy way. So yeah, you're doing that too. Yeah, cool. Well done. That's awesome. We'll get back to you. I know you jumped on late, but basically, you were just going to kind of take it in turns and kind of go through some question and answers. So, and like I said to everyone else, we're going to take notes on everyone's kind of insight. So if you're, you know, you can make it relative to you. So we'll kind of go through that at the end as well. Good stuff.
Okay.
All right. Now, because Amy's already been on this morning's coach session, she's going to be like a fly on the wall, and she wants to learn from more people. That's pretty good. 2 sessions in one day. All right, put your hand up if you want to go first. Let's go, Nick. Just because he's I knew he'd put his hand up. All right, man. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'll volunteer myself.
Good.
So I guess kind of like my question is, you know, it's related to what I was saying earlier, and it's just, it's, you know, how do you like manage that when, you know, you're not feeling well, or you know, you're just not up to doing things, but you've got like that voice in your back of your head that's just like, oh, you got to do this, or, you know, you could do this, you know, yesterday, like, you know, you got to do it today kind of thing. And like, I think I'm learning to be, you know, kinder to myself, but it's still, I still probably like this thing that I struggle with the most of, like, you know, trying to, I guess, meet these expectations. So.
Okay, cool. I've got it. Yeah. So this is perfect. So there's only so much positivity and kindness that you can give to yourself when you're feeling like shit. You know, and I think sometimes it's counterintuitive, but I think it's also appropriate for you to just acknowledge, you know what, I'm having a shitty day today, and that's okay. And so I think there's this pressure on yourself, and I do it too, where you should feel good all the time, or you should be able to do what you did yesterday, and then you start beating yourself up. And what I found really helpful is literally just being like, I'm just having a blah day today, and that's okay. And I'll still go about my day, and I'll still do things because I know that that's the type of person you are. You're not one to just do nothing. But it's like when you acknowledge that it's just a blah day, then it takes that. Like, how do you feel when you think about that? Does it take the pressure off you at all when you feel that?
Yeah, I think it does. It's, before I got sick, I was very much, the high achiever. I was, performing, academic at school, did swimming, running, part-time job, everything.
Yeah.
And I'm just learning that it's really hard, for me to admit, like, oh, you're having a bad day, or you don't feel too well. And because I feel like, I've always got to be go, go, go. And so just, I think taking, acknowledging like that, you can't be like that all the time, and you are just going to have bad days. And
well,
okay.
Put it this way.
Take the pressure off.
Yeah, healthy people don't have great days every day.
Yeah.
Does everyone understand that? Like, my girlfriend wakes up and goes, oh, I'm tired today, I feel like shit. Or, my friends, are buggered sometimes, and they're in a shitty mood, or they just don't feel quite right. And so I think we all need to sometimes normalize that and go, you know what, it's okay. And when we do that, we actually seem to have a better day. And I also think I didn't bring my daily planner with me, but I was just going to say, like, still use the daily planner even on those. I like to pre-prepare. So for me, that to-be list, like, I write that the night before. How do I want to be tomorrow? I want to be relaxed, I want to be calm, and I want to be strong, and even with my plan, it's like, well, these are the things I'd like to be able to do tomorrow. I'd like to tick off all these things if I could. And sometimes I don't get around to all the things, And I think for you, your win is going to be celebrating half your list.
Yeah.
You're
doing less.
Yeah. Like, and it's okay to do more too. Like, you can hammer yourself on some days and do more than you normally would do, but then you can also go, you know what, I had a big day yesterday, so it's okay to do not much tomorrow.
Yeah.
And put it in, maybe plan that in your day. Maybe plan it in your week. We had a guy this morning, Lewis, who's a bit similar to you. It was more around exercise for him because he wants to really, push himself harder, and he's going quite well. He's running and stuff, but he wants to run an extra 30 minutes than he normally would. And so he does, but then he feels like crap for a few days, even if he feels good on the day. So I said, for you, I want you to plan in your not so good days where you just need to relax and chill out. And I said, basically treat yourself like an athlete, because an athlete never trains at 100% in the season. And so you're in season right now, So treat yourself a bit like that. Just plan in those days where you don't do as much, and a win for you is going to be celebrating that, looking at it in a different way. But I think for you the biggest thing is going to be like, literally going, I feel a bit shit today.
Yeah.
But still doing stuff though. Like, you'll notice that you can still do all the stuff even if you do feel shit. It's just that you won't feel amazing doing it, and that's okay. Versus, shit, I can't do as much as I did yesterday, and kind of getting to that thought pattern. So you've almost got to laugh it off, and it's not you, it's just your brain and a pattern that's just recurred over a period of time. I still do it too, but I try and snap out of it pretty quickly. And kind of break through that. Does that help?
Yeah, I think so. And like, I think like the journals, it's like it helps remind me to be like, okay, be kinder to yourself, take the time out. Like, it doesn't matter that, if you don't complete everything. So yeah, I think that's a good thing. And just you mentioned something else that I'd like to quickly touch on. You said that like healthy people still have bad days, and I think because I've been like sick for 4 years now, it's like you kind of forget what's healthy and normal, and you kind of like you think healthy is like feeling good, amazing all the time, and so you kind of like feel bad when that's not the case, because it's like I wanted, but you kind of forget that healthy still has bad days.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's spot on, and like we were talking there's a few girls in our group in this morning who were really struggling with their sleep. And, you know, I said, you know, a bit like kind of what you've been working on, Sarah, you know, like pulling that hourly sleep time back, which has been useful. But, you know, I said to one of them, she's like, I just need to get my sleep perfect. I'm like, no, your sleep's never going to be perfect. I'm like, even healthy people don't have perfect sleep. They still wake up a bit groggy. They still, you know, you don't wake up feeling $1,000,000. Sometimes people wake up slower and drag their asses out of bed, and they don't even have chronic fatigue syndrome, you know. So it's just about normalizing that and just realizing that. And you're right, it's hard. It's like after 4 years, you're like, well, what is normal? And you start to create this separateness, but it's actually quite, it's all together in a way. Yeah. You know, but just to break that down and go, you know, like, you know, ML, you've worked with ML before, that mindset coach, and, you know, she'd tell you the same thing. You know, so, but it's good to realize that and have that reminder. What I'd like you to do this week is plan in your days with your daily journal. Plan in the hours when you're not going to do anything. All right. So, you know, and it might not be not doing anything. It could be just doing something fun for you. I feel like you need to break away from the hard to-do list stuff and more fun stuff for you. You know, and it might take half an hour to relax into the fun stuff for you. I know for me, it's really hard to wind down and relax sometimes, and it takes me like half an hour to kind of get into it. And once I'm into it, then I'm good. So I'd like to see that in your kind of, you know, daily planner, just like schedule in a bit of that stuff for you.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's good for you.
Yes.
Good.
I think I need that.
All
right.
Good man.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Did everyone kind of get something from that? Yeah. Awesome. Cool. All right. Rach, you're up. Now I kind of your volume kind of breaks in and out. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That sounds better.
Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm struggling with pacing. So, and it's the increasing of the activity that I'm struggling with. Okay. And so I feel as if gradually over time I'm managing to do more, but I'm just struggling to find that balance. And I don't know whether or not I need to treat it as a scientific experiment and think, right, I can only do 3 hours a day of maybe strenuous activity and 3 of light activity, and the rest is rest. I don't know if I need to go and then I build up the strenuous activity and then I build up the light and the rests decrease. I don't know if I need to go to be that specific because I'm just struggling to get the right level.
Okay, so this is good. So there's 2 ways you can go about that. You can go that route, which you know works for some people. For me, I don't like micromanaging, and I feel like sometimes that can create stress in itself. Like, okay, I've got to do. Perfect example. I had a girl reach out to me not too long ago actually, and she was like, "I'm doing 5 hours of, you know, X, Y, Z, and I'm doing 3 hours of this, and I'm doing 2 hours of this, but I'm just not making any progress. I'm just so stressed out." And she was actually doing quite well. And anyway, we jumped on a call, and I was like, "Listen, like," and she timed everything. So she had a stopwatch, and she constantly timed everything. I said, "Throw out the stopwatch. It's time to let it go." And I said, "Listen, how you got to where you're at is really awesome. Like slowly progressing and incremental things from a complete bedbound place is brilliant. But there comes a point where you need to, what worked then doesn't work now. What got you here won't get you there, you know?" Yeah. And so depending on where you're at, if you feel like you need to micromanage, which I feel like you probably don't need to that much, especially like from what we've spoken about before, from me knowing your background, it can be useful for a short period of time. I don't think it's a really useful long-term strategy. I think it creates stress than good. What I would rather is you have a flexible kind of approach, and a bit like Nick with those, you know, perfectionistic days is a bit like what you need to do with your your routine is have a bit of a looser approach, and so like on the days where you're maybe not feeling as good, you still do stuff, but you do it more appropriately for that day.
Yeah.
And I use this analogy. You go.
I would prefer not to get to the having to micromanage, as you say. I'd prefer not to do that.
Yeah.
But because I'm not having big crashes anymore, which is great, but I'm having mini ones.
What's a mini one to you? Because everyone's different. What's mini?
I just, the next day is just more of an effort. Yep. So my body just doesn't feel, just a little bit more of that feeling of being unwell. But I'm not having to go to bed, or I'm not having to sleep in the day. Good. It's just that maybe everything's a little bit more of an effort for me.
Okay, I wouldn't call them mini crashes then.
Okay.
Just, change that terminology, get rid of that, because a crash is basically a period of prolonged need for rest because you've done too much. You sound like that's, I know what you're saying, but I would maybe call it a dip or a blip.
Yeah.
Maybe okay. Or something like that, just to, you see the difference there when we talk about like that. Yeah. And like I said, you can, in the program in module 1, there's a daily planner, and I'm not sure if you've seen that, but if you do go through module 1, there's a little PDF printout sheet, and it basically helps you plan out your day. It's very different to the journal that you guys have been given in this mentorship group, but it basically helps you kind of not micromanage your day, but just manage your daily activities, and helps you kind of figure out, have I done too much? Have I done too little? And reflect on each day. It doesn't take long, probably 2 to 3 minutes, but that can be useful. I feel like for you, it's probably just about consistency. Like you're probably a bit like Nick, like a bit hard on yourself, and you're very determined. I know that, which is brilliant, but don't let that determination get in the way of progress.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I like that answer.
Good. Yeah.
I like that answer.
Yeah. Put the brakes on, chill out a little bit, like chill the brakes, and just don't try and force it and focus on trying to progress too, fast all the time. Sometimes progressing is just maintaining where you're at.
Yeah.
And so, let me see. 1 second. Where are we? Okay. Can everyone see this white screen? Yep. Cool. So basically, let's say we start here. All right. This is just where you originally start with where you're at, and basically we get a baseline. And Christine's done that really well this week. She's kind of stabilized. All right. We just want to stabilize where we're at. Now we make a little bit of progression, and we go up a little bit. And that progression can mean walking a little bit further, doing more daily activities. It can mean, going out to events. It can mean studying or reading, or even just, sleeping less during the day. Like that's progress. Now that might feel harder to start with. So you might go down a little bit. Then you might stabilize again. Then you might go up a little bit higher. Now notice when I go up higher, it's not a constant thing like that. All right. Because we all know that, even in the stock market, right? If you see something like that, it goes up and down, it's going to be very much up and down, right? We want to scrub that out. Instead, we want to manage, slowly progress. Now, let's just use the stock market as an example. Banks, I'm only using stock market because I know you're in finance, Rachel, but
yes.
But banks are the most common steady stocks, right? Like if you look over 20, 30 years, it's very much progressional. It's not up and down. And so basically, we want to stabilize, maintain, progress. Stabilize, progress. Okay? So don't feel disheartened if you're at these, what you feel like are flat lines, but actually it's just you maintaining consistency. And over a period of time, that's where you are.
Yeah, great.
Does that make sense?
Yep. That's brilliant.
Cool. So you guys should be able to see that anyway. We will get we'll get a replay and you'll be able to go back to that screenshot. But it's just one of those things that I think we all need to be reminded on, and it's like anything, you know, like some of you guys know that I surf, and you know, God, like I've had some shit months lately where I just suck. You know, I just feel like I'm getting worse. But it's only because I'm becoming more conscious and aware of what I'm doing wrong, which is then going to help me progress even further with my surfing. Okay. So it's just something that we all kind of go through. It's a process, but yeah, keep at it and know that when you're at a steadiness, enjoy the steadiness and make the most of it. Rather, because I feel like what happens, we don't enjoy it and we start to like think where we're not, and we stress about it and we have a shit time and we don't enjoy it at all. So start enjoying that. I think that's going to make a great difference for you. And we'll talk next call we do. I feel like that'll be a great time to then let's re-chat about, you know, that what we chatted about tonight, and see where you're at and see the difference and how you feel, and then we can see some progress. Good stuff. Thanks for that. That was really cool. Let's go with Christine.
Hi.
Hello.
So I had no big crashes the last week.
Yes.
So, yeah, because I've stopped a lot.
Christine, did that help you, what we spoke about with Rachel?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
But now my question is, now I have the feeling I can hardly do anything without that my symptoms flare up. I have a lot of problems with standing and walking, and that's my question. Where can I start from there?
Okay, cool. Did you
safely?
You know how you said you got your baseline sorted? Were you doing a lot more than what you were doing now?
Yeah. No. Now I find my baseline, but I can walk about 50 meters. I can stand 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And the half year before, I have overdone it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But were you doing a lot more back then?
No, I try to make shorter periods of activity, and then I rest. And then I get up and make a lot little things like 2 or 3 minutes, and then a break.
Okay.
Yeah.
So initially, that's okay to do that. Now, I'm going to share with you a perfect example. I had a lady from America years ago. Her name was Michelle. You've probably seen, if you've followed me long enough, you've probably seen photos of her somewhere. But basically, she joined the program and she was not in a good way. You know, like couldn't do what you're able to do. You know, like little activities, like she couldn't do none of it. And she joined the program and she said, "There's nothing I can do, Toby." And I said to her, she was 55, I think, and her mum was looking after her anyway. She looked really terrible. She had totally grey and just not good. And I said to her, "Well, what could you do? Like just one thing. Tell me one thing." And she said, and she struggled to go to the toilet. She couldn't walk down her staircase. Like she had to get fed dinner and breakfast upstairs. And she said, "I could probably brush my teeth once a day. You know, like that would be hard for me, but I'd be willing to give it a go." And so she started with brushing her teeth once a day. And then, you know, and then it was twice a day. And then from there it was sitting up out of bed for, you know, a couple of minutes. Then it was walking around her room. Then it was walking down 2 stairs and coming up. And it wasn't so much micromanaged though. It was very much intuitive. So kind of listening to your body. Now, notice when I say listening to your body does not mean listen to your symptoms. You still are able to do things even if you don't feel great. Just because you might have sore legs or, you know, feeling a lot more tired than usual doesn't mean you don't have to do anything, all right? Because what happens then if you're constantly listening to your symptoms, you're not going to do anything, and then you decondition, and then you just don't really do much. But like I said before, it's about finding that sweet spot, okay? Do a little bit, and then rest a little bit. But being in tune with your body basically means that. So it basically means do what feels appropriate. And then if you feel like you need a little rest, then that's totally appropriate too.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this same lady, 2 months later, we did another Skype session. We jumped on a group call like this. And she was a different person. Like her face, she had colour in her skin again. She was smiling. She was just so grateful that she could do things. And so basically what I got her to do, and this is what you could do, is I got her to list things that she can do. What can I do? And so she started to list these little things. I can brush my teeth. I can drink a glass of water in the morning. I can step out of bed. I can sit up out of bed. I can put my makeup on. So she started putting her makeup on every morning, even though she didn't see anybody. And over 2 months, she was a different person. And 6 months later, she was walking around downstairs eating breakfast and lunch and dinner with her mum, and then going outside and enjoying the garden. A year later, she went down and finished her goal, which was to walk 20 minutes along the beach in her coastal town. And now she's fully recovered. She drives 2 hours, 3 hours with her friends. She looks 20 years younger than what she did before I met her.
Oh, that sounds great.
But she started with one thing that she could do. And so what you need to do over the coming days and weeks and months is start to add to that to-do list. Start to focus on your wins. Start to focus on the things that you can do, not what you can't do. And just really build that and enjoy that and build that momentum. Does that make sense?
Yes. I have to put also enjoyable activities on my daily plan. Yes. That's very important for me. Yeah.
Yes, totally. And that's going to help you a lot. I don't think right now exercise is not important for you. Daily activities, just doing stuff around the house, doing stuff that you enjoy is going to be really important. Okay. Restorative movement will be fine for you. You just got to build up, slowly and just do what feels appropriate. But just go back to the word appropriate. You have to feel comfortable doing what you're doing. Okay.
Okay.
I was going to say one more thing, and this applies for anyone in a situation currently similar to you. If you can't do the thing that you wish to enjoy to do, imagine doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Lie down, close your eyes, and be there. I had a lady recently. She couldn't drive, and she said, "I can't drive. It scares me to drive. I want to drive, but I can't drive." And so I said, "Okay, well, if you can't drive, if you can't physically drive, lay down and go for a drive."
Yeah, my biggest.
Yeah, she thought I was a bit crazy, but anyway. Like I said, start visualizing it, start working, start enjoying it anyway if you can't. And then one day if you feel like you can jump in the car, just jump in the car. And so she jumped in the car like 2 weeks later and she sat in the car and it felt good. And then she went back inside. And then the next day she jumped in the car and she started the car and she reversed out and then reversed back in. And a week later she's driving around the streets and enjoying herself. So don't feel disheartened if you can't do everything that you really want to do right now. Just do it in your mind. Imagine it.
Okay. Yeah. I start with that.
Proud of you. I'd really like you to focus on module 1 and 2 in the main program. Module 1 and 2 in the main program.
True.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go through that. You're going to make some baby steps to start with, but I want you to, they're not baby steps, they're big steps and you need to celebrate them. All right. The reason why I wanted to talk to you tonight as well is because you stabilize is important, but remember, we want to see that progression as well. Okay, so it's not always about doing less. Less is an initial starting point. All right, that's just to stabilize. Nick's just posted a comment for you, Christine.
Okay.
He said, when I was really unwell, I made some posters of pictures of things I wanted to do in the future. It really made me feel good and full of hope when I was really unwell. And I would definitely suggest that too. I did that too. That can be on your enjoyment list. And I think we all need that. Like for me personally, I have a primary aim, and my primary aim, and we'll get into this over the next 6 months with you guys. This is a little bit more advanced, and we just need to focus on the basics right now. But the primary aim is all about what your life looks like, what you want it to look like. How do you want to be? How do you want to feel? Who do you want to hang out with? What does it look like? And primary aim is really important to have, because sometimes if we don't have a primary aim, we kind of just feel a bit lost and directionless. So I think that'll be really nice for you. Exactly what Nick said, to kind of, it's like a dream board, a vision board, and basically cut up some magazines, print out some words, big words, your favorite colors, and jazz it up, and enjoy it. Cool. I'm proud of you. Good stuff.
Okay.
Well done for just stabilizing first, and yeah, now it's on the uphill.
And now I can add activities.
Yep.
Every day. Yeah.
Appropriately.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Good girl. Listen to your body, not your symptoms.
Okay.
Tune in. Cool. That was good. Mike.
Yes. Well, I listened a little bit.
Have you got a dog there? Is that what is something?
That's my cat.
Nice. I should bring my dog on.
I listened a little bit to this morning's Q&A you had.
How did you find it?
You had it on Facebook.
No. Like, how did you find it? Did you enjoy it? Did you get much from it?
Oh, yeah. I didn't have time to listen more than 25 minutes, so I didn't finish. But you talked about progression, and you said 5 to 10%. How often should you put in progression in your?
Now that was a rule of thumb, so I don't want you to take that like a grain. Take it like a grain of salt, okay?
Yeah.
So basically, I was to give you guys some context. Who I was talking about was Lewis, who, like I said, is at a, starting to progress and starting to run, and he wants to get quite fit, and so. For him, he was progressing too much. He was basically jumping up 30%, 40%, in one sitting, and it's like, well, like that's just not really appropriate for anybody. And so basically, the rule of thumb is just 5 and 10% increments over time. Now, especially if you're pushing your body and you're quite functional, because it's just a big jump in terms of exercise progression, and so. In terms of exercise progression, 5 or 10%, you can basically do that as long as your health maintains for 2 to 3 weeks. Then it's time to progress again. And that, like I said before, that whiteboard theory that I just showed you guys, that stabilization can be a 3 to 4 week kind of steadiness, and then you can go, okay, I'm doing pretty good. I'll add in an extra set of exercises, or I'll add in yoga movements or reading another paragraph or another page or another chapter. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
But I want to intuitively feel it. I don't want everyone's different. I'm not a scientific kind of person, so I don't like fully looking at a spreadsheet and going, all right, it's been 4 weeks now, it's another 5% of what I'm doing, and doing like that. I more would prefer to feel, all right, intuitively I'm feeling pretty good. But also remember that your week and your months change, and so you might progress quite a lot. And we're at the third hump now. Let's say we've gone 1, 2, and we're at 3 now. But at 3, we've had a stressful week. We've had a lot of shit going on in our life, and we're actually feeling quite crap. Well, then it's quite important to go, you know what? I need to just chill out a little bit more and go easy on myself.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. Where they don't factor in life and and kids and job and money and emotional health and friends and family and all that stuff, as we all know. It's going to be challenging, and so we need to kind of factor in that too in terms of progression. So like I said to Lewis this morning, if you watch that part, I said he's just got a new baby on the board, and I said that's another whole spanner in the works. So like if you've had a sleepless couple of nights, then it's probably smart to do a bit more restorative stuff than trying to push yourself even more. Yeah. Have you got anything else you want to ask?
Yeah, I find journaling very rewarding. But when it comes to the weekend, I find it hard to manage to do the journaling because I don't know. I'm out of routine in the weekend. We don't get up at the same time, and I don't have my own time. And my daughter is there, and we're going to do things, and we're going to meet friends, and then it's going to be late night, and I'm too tired to do it in the evening.
Yeah.
And so
okay.
How to manage journaling in the weekends when you're out of routine.
Yeah. So first of all, just before we touch on that, Nick's just written something spot on. I think feelings of boredom is a sign that you can progress.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good sign too. So yeah, 100%. If you're feeling bored and you've kind of got the energy, then yeah, it's a good sign. And also, as long as your health's maintaining, you know, you're not getting a cold or a flu on top of what you're going through, then it's a good time to progress. So it's funny you mentioned this because I actually, you know, obviously, I think there's, you know, I ran 20 diaries that you guys have all got. Well, hopefully, Sarah, you're getting it soon, and Christine. But did you notice it was quite thick? The guys who have got it, it's quite thick. And so I actually included, there's 6 months every single day for 6 months for you to fill that out. And then I realized, I'm like, well, actually, you need the weekends off. So I've just reordered another 20. They just came in this morning and they're a bit smaller because I actually got rid of about 100 pages of the weekends. Because I feel like for me as well, sometimes it's just good to have the weekend off and have that break. So I think maybe it's okay that you don't go on the weekends unless you feel like you want to.
Yeah.
So it's just not giving yourself that that strong rule that you have to do it. And if you do want to do it, then just set a nice boundary. Just be like, all right, guys, I'm busy from 7 till 8 p.m. tonight, or 7 till 7:30, and lock yourself in a room and just, you know, pen and paper and chill out and journal.
Right.
If you feel like it, but I like that you can back it up a bit. If you're just having a weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool. Good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and guys, like for me as well, personally, like I notice that if I don't use my daily planner, I definitely don't have a productive day or as of productive. But weekends are okay to do absolutely nothing if you don't want to. But if you feel like you're on the roll, then by all means go for it. I do find that Sunday planning is brilliant. So I do like to kind of sit back on a Sunday evening and just like map out my week and go, all right, this is what needs to be done throughout the week. This is what I want to focus on. And then you can kind of like go, all right, Monday, you know, I start on this kind of thing. So it's nice to kind of prepare for the week. And it's funny because I'm the most unprepared, unorganized person you'll ever meet. so, you know, I'm only sharing this stuff because it's really working for me. And I find it really, really helpful. And I do definitely notice the days that I don't have it, you know, as simple as like on my to-do list is no phone before 11 a.m. No unnecessary phone time before 11 a.m. Okay. And now that might sound so stupid, but for me, I'm so much more present when I don't have my phone before 11. You know, it's just so easy to get caught up online and waste time. And I find that if I don't have a to-do list, then I just end up doing self-sabotage things and just don't really get much out of what I really want, which I go back to my primary aim, which we'll talk about that over the coming months. But, you know, I find that, yeah, if I focus on my primary aim in life and how I want my life to be like and how I want to feel and what I want to do, then I start and I plan around that day to day, then I make progress and feel good about it. But if I don't, then I just, you know, as you guys know, you just feel kind of unuseful is probably the nicest word I could say. Okay. Thanks though, Mike, and that was good. Sarah.
Okay.
Give me your 100 questions.
So, what? How do you know? I'm debating which one to pick. I have 2 to 3 nights a week mandatory lessons that I need to come to. Like it's part of my living package. So they finish either at 9 or 10:30. Now I set my bedtime for 10:30. I'm wondering how I can, like, what would be the best way to wind down fast from those lessons?
So ironic. How do I wind down fast? So good. No, I get it. It's a good question. It's just funny, isn't it? Though, it's like, how do we wind down faster? You know. a couple of things that can help. So I don't know, did you hear me talk about the blue light glasses?
Yeah, I ordered them.
Cool. So these are actually blue light too. They don't look like it, but they are. So you can get like nicer looking ones that,
Okay.
that you can wear and not look like a weirdo in front of your friends. Or you can get the orange ones, the orange tinge ones, which are really for nighttime, and they do make a difference. Personally, like I just find that my nervous system's more calmer. I'm more relaxed. I don't feel as stimulated. I can watch TV or look at the screen and just feel a bit more relaxed about it. So that can help on those later nights. I even find when I'm out for dinner and it's busy and, like it's late, I find that I feel more relaxed when I wear these instead of not wearing them. So that can help. The orange ones do switch you into even more calmer, relaxed mode just because it's quite, dark and it's really shaded. But yeah, they're obviously not cool to wear. So just wear them in your home. Did you order off Amazon or?
Yeah, Amazon.
Cool. Yeah. Do you know what brand?
Yeah.
No. Oh, good. Doesn't matter. So that's one thing. There's a couple of like, I guess, calming things you can do externally, like chamomile tea, herbal teas. There's a supplement called L-theanine. I'll type it in the box, which has been known to help relax you at night or day. It's just a supplement. It's usually just taken powder. But just Google that first and have a read about it. It's kind of like a amino acid, but there's a lot of really good reviews online that can help. One thing that really helps me is Epsom salt baths to relax and calm down at night, and also magnesium spray. A lot of people find it helpful. If you don't have a bath, you can do Epsom salt foot baths. So you just get a big bucket, put Epsom salts in your.
We don't have Epsom salts in Israel.
Oh really? Can you get them? Can you order them online and get them?
Yeah, it's one of those things that just don't come.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll explore that then. And we spoke about this in the morning session, which you guys can watch the replay of too. But it's something about self-soothing. One of our girls, Cindy. She spoke about like she was waking up. She wakes up 3 to 4 times a night. She's basically tired and wired. Yeah. Just like not being able to fully switch off. And so if you're going to bed late, which is possible, and you wake up in the middle of the night quite alert, your brain initially goes freak out mode and goes, shit, like I need to go back to bed. Like it's late. I haven't slept. I've got a big day tomorrow, and yada yada yada. And what you can do is catch yourself and go, oh, it's just my brain being silly, and then self-soothe. And self-soothing is self-talking to yourself, basically talking to yourself like you would talk to a newborn baby who, is crying and needs to sleep. And so, I think I did it last night, and I'm just doing it automatically these days. But I think I woke up at like 1 or 2 or something, and I was just like, oh, and my brain was like, shit, I've got a big day tomorrow. I've got to perform. I need to sleep. And I was like, no, go back to, you're going to fall asleep again. And you'll be okay. And you just talk to yourself really slowly and gently, and you don't have to actually talk out loud. You just talk in your mind. And that can be really, really useful to kind of calm your nervous system down. I find for me, classical music's really nice, like a piano kind of music before bed can be quite nice. Things that don't work is like, for me personally, and what I've read as well, is hot showers or cold showers before bed. So try and get like a lukewarm shower if you are going to have a shower, because it's kind of like, it's relaxing. Either or can kind of keep you aroused. Try not to eat too much of a heavy meal like late at night as well.
Yeah.
Stay off chocolate, caffeine, and all those kinds of things after 4 p.m. Especially like dark chocolate and stuff. It's brilliant during the day, but just after 4 p.m. it's just going to keep you a bit more alert and kind of caffeinated up. But also just kind of, just try not to make a big deal of it at the same time, in the sense of like, yeah, I'm just, I've got to do my class, it's fun. Just going to chuck on my classical music and relax and sleep. Earplugs and eye masks work really well too, if that's something you're not doing already.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I like the gel earplugs. They're like silicone basically, and they're better than the foam ones. And basically, it blocks out all the noise. Get a really good eye mask to block out the light, and you'll have a much deeper sleep as well.
Okay.
But yeah, if you do have time, feel free to go on to the other Q&A recording, which is posted up in the group already. We talk about that too. Yeah, about sleep routine, and just kind of pulling your sleep back to a healthier time. But it's okay to have, like for me, I normally don't do calls, after 6 p.m. because I find that I'm a lot more alert, and I want to wind down at 8 p.m. kind of thing. But once a month or twice a month for me, it's not a big deal. It's like, yeah, it's fine. I've got to do it. I want to do it. It's okay. Yeah, cool. Any other question?
I work from 2 to 7 twice a week or 3 times. Basically, what I was doing until now is right after 7 o'clock, I get back around 7:30ish, and then I go straight to my phone. Because like I would feel my body starting to become more tired and going into a dip, and then basically I would just go on my phone to kind of like relax, but also not have to really go into that dip. Now I'm trying to be less on my phone, so what would be a good transition from going from something intensive to letting my body relax but not feeling all those symptoms that come with it?
Yeah. I don't think being on your phone's a problem. I think it's actually okay to have a scroll through and relax. I think it can be quite calming and relaxing. I think maybe give yourself half an hour of that in the evening, for something like, just to chill out and whatnot. It doesn't have to be totally black and white, but then, I think it's the key there, and we all kind of need to work out our keys. Like, all right, I've had a good scroll and I've had a good chat, and it's like, all right, time for me now. And that time for you now might be putting your phone on airplane mode and like I said to Nick before, like giving yourself that half an hour to kind of break the pattern and then feel relaxed, being relaxed, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So things like elevating your legs against the wall, things like, having a bit of a stretch, doing some restorative breathing, there's lots of little things you can kind of do, or it could just be watching your favorite show. You got to kind of figure that out for yourself, but try not to make it too black and white.
Okay.
Music's really brilliant too. Like I feel like music's such a key component to kind of switching off and just getting out of your head and out of out of that kind of thought process into your body again. Maybe like search something different. I don't know. Like I've been listening to George Benson. I don't know if you guys have heard George Benson. He's an old dude, but like some of his songs are brilliant, and you can't not feel good listening to them. And you guys will listen to them and go, "What is he listening to?" So just find your groove, find some music that chills you out or kind of makes you happy, and play it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like a bad thing if I straight go to watching like stuff because I don't want to like totally relax.
No, I don't think so. I think it's okay. I think it's a form of relaxation.
Okay.
Just gauge it though, Sarah. Like just feel it out for yourself, like you just gauge it yourself. Just like, when it's a self-sabotaging behavior because it doesn't feel good doing it. So it's okay if you do it. And it's bad. It's being on your phone is not a bad thing. Being on your phone is not a problem unless it's a problem.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, So for me, like, I'm on my computer and I work a lot on my phone, and so it's like if I get a chance, I'd love just not to have my phone on me for 4 hours in a day. It's bliss. Yeah. So for me, it's just about finding those moments when I can do that. and then sticking to it. But, it's totally okay to have a scroll through and it might not be your phone. It could be anything. It could be, a game online or, watching YouTube videos or whatever it is. That's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff, guys. Now,
Thank you.
thank you. Now, can everyone comment in on the section below what was most insightful for you tonight? Because I just want to kind of see what we learned. And obviously you guys are taking some notes, which is really cool, but just like intuitively, like for you, and write down as much as you like, but just want you to comment below. I want to read them out. And you guys can read everyone else's answers too. What's one insight for you that you can take away, from tonight's session? Amy says, maintain for 2 to 3 weeks, then reassess. Yep. Yeah, Mike, and health leave into sick leave. Yeah, I think that's really important. I think that's a really big thing. And start telling people, I got health leave. It's so true, and that's what it should be called anyway. Everyone should be calling it that. The government should call it that. Yeah, nice. First question, right to be list for tomorrow. Yeah, I like to set the intention the day before. It's always good. Nicholas says that even healthy people have bad days. It's okay to have a bad day. It's normal, so don't beat myself up over having a bad day. Yeah, awesome. Good stuff. Cool, guys. What else? Who else have we got? Christine, have you written one in? Can you comment? Can you find the comment section, hopefully? No, you can't? Oh, you can't either. All right, well, I'm going to unmute Rachel quickly. Rachel, what was your insight for tonight?
I don't do anything that I enjoy, I've realised.
Bang! That's a big one.
Yeah.
Okay, so
for me, I don't do anything for me.
Yeah, okay, so what I would love you to do is get a pen and paper, big circle. Don't do it in straight lines. Do it in just brainstorm it. And just what are some things that you'd love to get back into doing that you used to do as a kid, that you used to do when life wasn't so serious? And it can be 2-minute things, it can be small things, it can be bigger things like going to get a facial, getting your nails done, playing music again, doing arts and crafts, or it might be just picking up a ukulele for the first time and learning how to play ukulele. All right?
Yeah.
Cool. That's massive. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Great insight. Okay, Christine, what's your insight for tonight?
Yeah, for me too, it's the same. To put one enjoyable activity on my daily list. Yes.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
I think everyone, we all need that, it's something that I talk about quite a lot, to have those joy moments in the day. And sometimes they can happen spontaneously, but it's always nice to kind of have a little thing in your notepad to go, all right, well, I can just pull out one of those ones today. And it's really hard for people like us who are kind of high achievers and, type A personalities. It almost feels a bit uncomfortable sometimes to do stuff for us and to enjoy it. And so, as I said to a few people tonight, especially Nick, it will give yourself 30 minutes, to feel good about it. You might go, I'm going to do something I really enjoy today, and it might feel like shit for the first 10 minutes because it just feels a bit uncomfortable. But if you can stay in the uncomfortability of it, you might find that you actually really enjoy it. I know for myself, I hate slowing down, but once I finally slow down, I love it. So it's just about breaking through that initial kind of barrier, that resistance barrier. Guys, brilliant session tonight. You'll get a recording of this anyway, so you can re-watch it as you like. We've got a group mentorship session with Gemma next week. Try and get there. I'll do a little comment section next week sometime before her session. So if you have any questions and you can't make it, or she'll probably post it herself. If you can't make it and you have any kind of mindset questions, or you're stuck on something specifically, feel free to write a small paragraph for her so she can kind of maybe answer that in her call, but definitely worth getting in on her sessions. And I'm also open to feedback too. So if you found tonight really helpful, please email me and let me know. If you have any feedback for me or anything that you feel like I could do better in these sessions, I'm totally open to suggestions too. Just be nice though. Cool, guys. Really proud of you. Like I said, we'll see you back in the group. It sounds like we've got a fair few takeaways tonight. And I think one of the biggest things is, let's just all do something that we can enjoy, even if it's just for 5 minutes. I'm going to go put on my favorite music now. Cool, guys. Well done. Cheers. Speak to you soon. You guys are amazing.